Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Tuesday, January 2022, Jim, meeting of the Town of Rhinebeck Planning Board. We are all here except one person, so we have a quorum. Let me start by welcoming Edna back. She has been reappointed to a second term, and we're happy to have you back with us. And also joining us, but I knew he might have a problem tonight, is Craig Olszewski. And Craig is joining us, having served on the Conservation Advisory Board. So I know because it was a Tuesday, he may have had a conflicting prior arrangement. We'll hope he joins us, but we'll carry on. So
Melody Delise is not here either, just to note.
Oh, okay. Okay, but we do have a quorum.
We have 5. Yes, we still have a quorum. We have 5.
So we're good. All right, so let's start with the business session. You've all received the meeting agenda. I see it's blissfully short, and I don't expect any changes to that. So, Jim, you don't see anything either changing, right? Have you all received a copy of Jim's meeting notes?
Yes.
And had a chance to review them? Could I have a motion to approve them as received?
So moved, Edna.
Moved by Edna, second.
Second, Joe.
Second, Joe. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries. You've all received the draft January 3rd minutes. Have you had a chance to review them?
Yes.
Any comments, questions, edits?
I move that we accept them.
Thank you, Edna. Second?
Second.
Second, Michael. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The motion carries. I note that we very rarely question Gretchen's minutes, so it seemed appropriate to thank her for doing such a comprehensively good job at getting us minutes, both in a timely fashion and in an accurate fashion. Any correspondence and announcements?
No, Melody, I just noticed on this this agenda, it does show 6:30 p.m. I know that we did mention to everyone that it was at
Correct.
6 o'clock.
We will correct that. Thanks, Sean, for pointing that out.
You know what?
But you see, Sean, it goes back to Tuesday, January 18th, 2021. So that was a year ago. So
That was last year's.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
We're just, yeah, it's all in your head. Thank you for pointing that out. And I do believe that everybody has been notified. So the good news is that our first new application tonight, the presenter is already with us. So this is an application coming to us from the town, from the Thompson Mazzarella Park. It is for a site plan amendment for soccer fields from grass to turf. And Jim will be presenting on behalf of the town and the committee. Is that right, Jim, both of them?
Yeah, the town is technically the applicant on this, so I'm presenting on behalf of the town, and yes, the committee is part of it as well.
Hey, take it away.
Okay, so it's actually pretty simple and straightforward. The park improvements were approved several years ago, and this is simply a site plan amendment. Just trying to find the right sheet. This is a site plan amendment so that we are so the town, I should say, and the committee, rec committee, are actually looking to just replace what was previously approved as a grass field for the soccer field to synthetic turf. There's nothing else on this plan at this point in time that is changing. There was a discussion of the potential for some lighting that was not on the plans. That is not part of this. The only thing that's going on right now is that we're looking at a change of the surface of the playing field from grass back to turf. Turf was originally proposed. It was taken out in favor of grass, and now I guess we're near the end of the proposal for at least the soccer field and getting it installed. And so the idea is to go back to turf. This was the plan, generally speaking, that was approved previously by the planning board. And so you can see that, the turf field is here. There is a proposal to put in additional parking in the future and even some baseball fields as well. Right now, there's, I believe it's a dirt or gravel lot, a parking lot up here, and a pavilion. So the soccer field will go in right where it was proposed to be. I guess with that, are there any questions? It's really just a site plan amendment because that's what's required by code. And it's being done because the code states it has to be. So we're going to go through the process.
Just out of curiosity, Jim, apparently there are advantages to turf. Is that correct?
My understanding, I haven't been involved in a lot of the details of this, but my understanding with the turf field is that it can be used a lot more than a grass field could. The grass field can get torn up with the amount of use that they get. The idea with the turf field is that it would be available to be used, I think, in the shoulder seasons. So, earlier in the spring, later in the fall when it's wet, and then also allow for play when it might not otherwise be available on grass fields that are either swamped due to rain or, have been torn up due to other games taking place. None of that will happen, should happen.
And say, and I don't know if it's up yet on Panda or YouTube, but at which town board meeting was it, Jim? The date?
It was it last week?
While
Or
he's
the week
looking for the date, there was an extensive presentation by the Clark Company, I think, who's been working with the rec committee on all of the details of this. And they went into great detail, Edna, about why turf is preferred. And there may be some members of the town board who know that as well. But I think it has to do with playability and the ability to turn over more games. And I guess over time, the sod just begins to wear out and needs replacement. So yeah,
It was the January 4th meeting.
January 4th meeting. So if
Of the
you're
town board.
interested in, it was, I believe, at least a 45-minute to an hour-long presentation on the
Jim
details.
answered the question beautifully. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else?
Yeah, Jim, real quick, I just want to, it's just a field that looks like a soccer field. We'll call it a field. But it's just that field. It's not the baseball fields, correct?
Correct. Yeah, I'm sorry. I've been calling it a soccer field. It should probably be called a multi-use field. But it is just the square field you see here. Again, it's all within, everything else is the same. It's just a matter of changing out the surface material.
Awesome. Thank you.
Do we have the
But no,
details?
it does not include the baseball fields, to directly answer your question. Sorry.
And are they new baseball fields or those, because I know there's a couple back there, but these seemingly are new or no?
They haven't been built, I don't believe.
These would be new, I believe. Yeah.
Okay.
Jim,
Has
is
there been a
the,
proposal for it to be, for those also to be turf? Right? I know it's not in this, but is there a future of that or no?
Well, this whole plan was approved by the planning board a couple of years ago. This is a site plan amendment just to change the field here. So if they were to come forward with the plans that were approved, back in, what was it, 2013, 2015, that would be able to move forward as long as there weren't any changes. The way the code is written, even something as, like it's the change of the field surface needs to have site plan review. That's the only reason it's back. But the plans themselves have been approved previously. So the field is approved, the baseball fields are approved, the parking lot lighting, things like that.
Hey, Jim,
were we waiting for information on fencing, Jim?
So I was told that what is proposed is just a simple 4-foot black chain link fence. I didn't get a capture of one, but I got one myself. It's your pretty, standard typical 4-foot chain link fence, I believe, is what's being discussed right now, as you see on the screen.
Joe, did I
Yep,
hear your voice?
yeah, just two questions. Can you go back to the map or the schematic, Jim? Is the pavilion's the building in the upper left corner there? That's currently built on the property, correct?
It's up in this area.
This thing,
somewhere, yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
That's that like cement structure that's back there behind the library, correct?
Is that
Yeah,
the restroom facility?
This might be the restroom. Let me go back. This is where there's an existing building and rain garden. I actually haven't been back there recently. I can't remember off the top of my head if it's a restroom or a pavilion.
Okay.
This is
My
the
other
existing kind of-
question, my other question is just for my knowledge. What was the reason that it went originally from turf to grass, now back to turf? What was it a cost issue with taking it to grass?
No, for sure. I'm not sure if any of the planning board members remember.
Okay,
My guess, Joe, is that it was cost related, but I wouldn't swear to it.
Okay.
I know that the town is undertaking a portion of the costs of this, and there has had to be some fundraising on the side. So it may have been simpler and quicker to get the fields useful by going to grass and to
Okay.
continue to raise money or to find the bonding to put in the turf fields. I could be wrong, but Michael, do you recall that?
Boy, it has gone through so many iterations at different
I know.
times. The only approval I could find on a site plan stamped and signed was from 2014, showing the soccer field to go right here, but it was put down as a future, a phase 2, a future project. So basically what we're doing today, I guess, is sort of picking up the ball on at least a portion of the future project to do the soccer field now. There were the other elements, the baseball fields, they were future projects, things like that. I think a lot of the focus of the town was on getting the pavilion built. That's there down on the to the left of this picture. And I think that took up most of their time and energies, and now they're getting back to the soccer field.
Anyone else from the planning board? Okay, Jim, we have a resolution to look at.
Yes, I have a procedural resolution for the site plan amendment, essentially accepting the application for further review by the planning board, classifying the action as a type 2 under seeker, and then scheduling the public hearing and a site visit, as well as the referrals to the CAB, WAC. And I don't actually believe this needs to go to HAPAC.
Oh, well,
double check.
yes.
Oh, no, it does, because it's in the National Historic Landmark District, so I take that back. That's why it's going to them.
But it's also the location of a major Native American archaeological site.
Oh, okay.
I mean, this will not affect that site, but it is recognized as such and therefore should go to them for that reason. I don't think it will make any difference, but it is of great historic value. Okay, so Gretchen, we are scheduling this for the second meeting in February, is that right? Public hearing, Gretchen? Jim? Somebody?
Yep. Yes, so this should
Hang
be
on, it didn't
scheduled.
unmute.
Okay,
February 22nd, which is a Tuesday at 6:15.
okay, so a month from now, we're on a Tuesday as well because of President's Day?
Yes.
Okay, so that would be the 22nd at 6:15. Who would like to conduct a field visit? A real field visit, a true field visit?
I would like to go.
I'll go with Joe.
Sean and Joe are assigned. Thank you very much, gentlemen. All right, could I have a motion to accept the procedural resolution, the site? Yeah, can I have a motion to accept it, please?
So moved.
Thank you,
Second,
Michael.
Edna.
Second, Edna. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, the motion carries. Thank you, everybody. We'll look forward to hearing from the site visit. Okay, next up, go back to the agenda, Jim. Are we at 6:15? Thereabouts?
We are.
Okay, next up is the public hearing for Michael Osnato, 122 Morton Road, site plan review and special use permit to renovate the front facade of the house. And let's see, is Alex here?
There is no one else here at the moment, Melody.
Okay. Well, why don't we then, we've seen this before. We've seen this application itself for solar installation in the past. And now they were back for the renovation of this facade of the house, the new proposal on the top and the existing building on the bottom. Why don't we start with Joe, who I know made a site visit. Maybe we'll start there, and maybe by that time Alex will come on.
Okay. This was actually my second time going to the property. I was there for the solar visit. The house is set well off the road. And additionally, can't really see In the winter, you can see the neighbors a little bit through the woods, but this modification is going to be on the front of the house, which isn't viewable from either of those properties nor the road. It seems like the proposal is going to really clean up the look of the house and make it much more neat looking across the front without the dormers and the porch. Didn't really see any issues with the application at all.
I can say that I was unable, unfortunately, to make the site visit. I was supposed to go with Joe, so I thank him for carrying the burden of it all, but I was there with him before on the solar. And aside from the architectural changes to the building, there's really no changes. The property itself whatsoever, nothing is visible. And I personally think that it really enhances the building and makes it much more attractive. It really has little or no impact whatsoever on just about anything. So I would, I believe we received, Gretchen, didn't we, a report from the CAB on this?
Yes.
And my recollection is that they had no issues with it.
That's correct, Melody. There were no issues
Okay.
raised.
Okay, so how about questions from the rest of the planning board? Questions or comments?
Are we able to proceed regardless of the applicant being here?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't have any issues. Do you, Jim?
No, I think I mentioned the first time around that I looked at a number of things and there are no issues related to this project for my.
Right. Well, Sean's question was, we are not obligated to carry this over because the applicant's representative is not here.
No.
Is that correct?
Yeah, you can move forward. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. Anyone else? Any comments, questions? Concerns?
Looks like a superb job to me.
I agree. I agree. And I believe you recall that he's enhancing the front there with a little landscaping, which is shown. But other than that, there are really no substantial changes but not lighting or landscaping or anything like that. All right, could we see the resolution, Jim?
Absolutely. So we have a draft. Oh, sorry, we have a draft approval resolution for site plan and special use permit.
Let me
reaffirming
stop you for
actions.
1 second. I just want to make sure that I didn't ask you, but I assume there's no one from the public here to comment.
No, still the
Okay.
same.
All right, sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
that original- No problem. So just to summarize it, we're reaffirming the action as type 2 under seeker based on the input from the site plan, other reports that we received from other committees. The planning board will be moving forward with the application to authorize work under the special use permit, section 125-67, and the site plan under section 125-75.
I think I need a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second,
Michael, Edna, thank you very much. All those in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Opposed? Any abstention? Motion to close the public hearing carries. And now, having reviewed the draft approval resolution, could I have a motion to accept that resolution?
So moved.
Move
Second,
Joe, second Edna. I'll poll the board. Edna,
aye.
Sean,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Michael,
Aye.
and I vote aye. The motion carries. I think, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our agenda for this evening, unless I'm missing something.
That's it.
It was just us chicks here tonight, so. All righty, but don't get used to this because the next few meetings are gonna get a little busier. So with that, could I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So move, Sean.
Thank you,
Second.
Sean. Second, Edna. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you all. Good to see you all. Stay well. Stay
Thank you.
warm.
Good night.
Night, everyone.
Good night.